everyone. A few hours ago, I finished the first draft of my novel, The Descent of Inanna, the first prequel book to my Blade of Perdition series, an Angels and Demons supernatural fantasy that is another of my writing projects. So since I finished the first draft of The Descent of Inanna, I can now look to begin my next writing project, so I wanted to use this video to lay out the roster of potential candidates and say a few words about them. Often when I am deliberating on a next writing project, I will wait and see whatever captures my interest the most. I don't like to force myself to do a certain project. I wait and see what I am most passionate about doing. Often I'll start on one thing, then decide I'm not loving it, and switch to something else, then switch to something else again before I finally get committed to a project. So here is what is on the menu for potential next writing projects. First is Arabian Dawn, Book 5 in the Trevor Knight series. That is in the first quarter of the sixth draft where I'm editing the book with a red pen. It is technically currently an active project. I do work on it from time to time, editing a paragraph or a page here and there, but it is a strong candidate to put all my energy behind it and get the sixth draft finished, and then I'll have one more draft to go before it's ready to publish. That would be my 8th published novel. This is a logical choice for my next writing project since I am currently working on it technically and I enjoy editing, but editing can be incredibly draining and exhausting, and I might want to write instead of edit right now. Second is Keeping Fire, which I can say now probably won't be my next project. This is the third book in the Samuel Creed series and it is in the 5th draft edits. Also editing it with a red pen, but I have not started this yet, I believe. The reason I am unlikely to choose this as my next writing project is because Arabian Dawn is currently in editing, so I don't see why I would drop Arabian Dawn and switch to Keeping Fire unless I feel a sudden passion for it. Third is the first draft of Babylon Dithers, the 6th Trevor Knight book. I am 13 chapters into that book with 71 chapters projected in the outline. This would be a major project because it would be going from one first draft, The Descent of Inanna, to another, Babylon Dithers, so I'm not sure I have the energy to do that. Incidentally, both The Descent of Inanna and Babylon Dithers are based in Iraq, which would be quite fitting, jumping from ancient Sumer to modern Iraq. Fourth is The Watcher, which I include mostly for shits and giggles. This is the first book of a new series, sort of a small town romance with interconnected standalone novels. That series is set in Boothbay Harbor, Maine, and I've been delaying that project for the last 15 years or so, always delaying it for other books I felt more passionate about. On the plus side, this would be a palate cleanser because I don't really care much about that book or series and can do pretty much anything I want with it. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that I could start working on the second draft of The Watcher, but quite unlikely. There's a non-zero chance, however, I choose to do it. Fifth is Grace's Will, which is an also often postponed book that I'm kind of wanting to work on, but not sure if I have the strength to do it. It is a standalone novel, very much a spiritual successor to my first novel, Waiting for the Rain. It's about a young woman who is dealing with a bunch of trauma from her abusive ex-boyfriend. She moves to Savannah, Georgia to inherit her grandmother's restaurant and home. It's something of a foodie book with scenes of her taking over the restaurant and also a romance because she meets a young man who is interested in her and he slowly begins to work chipping down the walls she's built around herself as she deals with the trauma and fights to decide whether she is willing to risk ever letting anyone in again. Because of the themes of that book, it is a very difficult book for me to deal with. It's gone through several iterations. So even though it's technically on the second draft, I've started, revised, rewritten, and started over that book a good half dozen times. Sixth for potential projects is Keeping Tessa, the 4th Samuel Creed book. I am somewhere around 50% into the first draft. That book has a few issues with it that would require me to get passionate about it or find a way through the couple issues in order to finish off the first draft. I'm not sure if I'm ready to deal with it, but if I do, I might be able to finish it within a few weeks or a month or two. Seventh, I could begin working on the second prequel book to the Blade of Perdition series. This would be the direct sequel to The Descent of Inanna. I don't think I'll do this because I am quite tired of that series, so if I started it, I would probably get exhausted and quit pretty early on. But I could work on Blade of Perdition itself. I am on the 4th and final novel in the main series, but again, I feel kind of tired of that series. Anyway, I think that is it for my potential writing projects. I'll probably initially plan on focusing more on the 6th draft of Arabian Dawn and see if anything sparks my interest instead in the meantime.
2, 3, 4.